Why don't your goals compel you? Like, why is it a letdown when you achieve your goals? Look, I think the real question is, what if everything that you want isn't actually what you want? Like, what if the feelings that you get about goals are really telling you something? Because, I ask most people, like, what do you want out of life? And I'm going to get answers like, well, Matthew, I want more money. I want more freedom. I want a better relationship, a bigger house, more time, more travel, maybe a nicer house, some better health, maybe. But what if I told you that most of what you want isn't actually what you want? What if your life, the life you've been chasing, was actually handed to you? Handed to you by well-meaning people in your life, your parents, your teachers, society, social media, a bunch of people that probably never stop to ask, what do they want? Now, most personal development actually teaches us that the key to happiness is figuring out what you want and then working really hard to go get it. You set a goal, you visualize, you manifest, you take action, you stay focused, and eventually, ta-da, you arrive. That's what you were told. But I'll tell you, after coaching high performers like you for more than 30 years, I have noticed something fascinating. People get the thing. They succeed, they win, they accomplish. Good for you. And then they realize they don't actually want it. They get the promotion, they build the business, they buy the house, they get married, they accumulate the money and the assets, etc. And then somewhere in the middle of all of that success, they start asking a very uncomfortable question. Why doesn't this feel the way that I thought it would? And the answer is because nobody taught you to question the desire itself. In our community, we question everything. What do I really want? Why do I want that? Who told me that I should want this? What if I have been pursuing somebody else's version of success and I didn't even know it? And for many people, that's the beginning of a complete reinvention, moving from a life of subtle guilt and obligation to a life of true peace of mind and actual joy. And that's what this video is all about. You reinventing your goals and your life. We're going to do it together. So with this video, I am going to help you by workshopping you through a series of questions of goals and why you want your goals, etc. And then I'm going to show you why so many successful people secretly feel trapped and what to do about it. Why money is not what you're actually after, and help you to figure out, like, what are you actually after? I want to show you how you've been conditioned to pursue things that may have nothing to do with your authentic desires. And then most importantly, I want to walk you through a series of questions to uncover what you genuinely want before you spend another decade climbing the wrong mountain. So let's get into this, shall we? Most people never consciously choose their life. Probably not you either. They inherit it from their parents, from school, from religion, from culture, from your family, from your brothers and sisters, from all those influences, the people that are all around you, social media today, television, society. You absorb a blueprint, and then you spend decades trying to fulfill on that blueprint. I mean, think about it. You were taught what success looks like. You were taught what a good person looks like. You were taught what responsible people do. You were taught what kind of career to have, what kind of relationship to have, what kind of house you should buy, what kind of life you should build. You were taught all of that. And most of us never stop long enough to ask, do I actually want this? And we're going to do that today in this video. We've been domesticated like a dog through pain and pleasure, through rewards. Rewarded to fit in, punished when we don't. Rewarded when we do something that's good for the family, punished when we don't. Rewarded when we do something good for society, punished when we don't. And then the people who raised us, they taught us what to think through these painful moments and the pleasures that we wanted. School taught us how to fit in through penalties and rewards. Society reinforced every single lesson. And before you know it, you're pursuing a life that earns approval rather than a life that makes you feel alive. And that's why figuring out what you really want is not a process of acquiring more stuff. It's a process of deprogramming all of this insanity that you've picked up. It's a process of removing the conditioning. It's a process of questioning the assumptions that you've never questioned before. And I can spot this a mile away, especially, it becomes super obvious to me when people go like, okay, that's fine, Matthew, but really I just want the money. I just want more money. And I'm like, okay, why? So let's slow down right now. Let's you and me go through some process here. I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to pause the video and I want you to answer the question. Maybe just in your head is fine. But take a moment and think about the answers to each of these questions. Why do you want more money? Like, what will the money do for you? What experience will this create? Like, what feeling will it give you? Freedom? Peace, adventure, security, self-expression, joy. So let's talk about your answers here. Most people discover something interesting when they get honest about these questions and their answers. They don't actually want the money, right? The money is actually a conduit to something. It's a conduit to an experience. We think that the money will give us an experience. So let's workshop through this right now, you and me. I ask, you pause and think about your answer, okay? If you had all the money you could ever need, how would you spend your days? Where would you live? Who would you spend your time with? What would you create? What adventures would you have if you had all the money that you could need? Now, here's the thing that changes everything. When you answer this part of the questioning, it starts to change everything. Look at the answers that you've thought about or written down. Is there a theme there? Like, what feeling would all of that create for you? Would it be more freedom? Would it be more peace, more excitement, more creativity, more love, more connection? In fact, do me a favor. Would you just throw that in the comments right now below? Because I want to be able to celebrate the feelings that you are identifying that are the real deal, the real goal. The feeling is the real goal. What feeling are you really, really after? Because here's the crazy thing. Do you have the ability to experience that feeling right now without the money? The answer is yes. Without the promotion? Yes, you do. Without the bigger house, without the changes in circumstances? Most people literally spend decades trying to create a future that will finally give them permission to feel something once the circumstances change. They could finally begin to feel what they could have just started feeling without changing the circumstances at all. We're just getting it backwards. And I want you to know that this leads to one of the biggest traps in modern life. Success can become a prison. Success can become a prison. People build lives that look incredible from the outside. The perfect career, the beautiful house, the fancy car, the trophy relationship, the successful children, the perfect social media profile. And secretly, when you get up close, you can see like these complaints and annoyances and doubts and fears and wonders. Like there's like some weird yearning. I call it a beautiful rose garden with a sewer underneath. They secretly wish their life was different, but they've accomplished everything that they said they want to accomplish. And I know this personally because I lived it. In my last marriage, I had so many things that society said I was supposed to want. I had it. Like on paper, I looked great. But deep down, I knew I wasn't living my dream. I was living a societal script. And that's what so many other people are doing. This is why I have built my life and my business around the rapid enlightenment process to support people like you, who are basically people like me, in getting out of this so you can find peace, joy, flow, excitement, enthusiasm now, and then apply it to everything that you want. So many people are performing success They're maintaining appearances. They're honoring their obligations and playing the role that is created out of guilt and obligation. Because that's what they were told to do. That's what they were told successful people do. But inside, if you start to get honest, there's just this tiny feeling of being trapped. And here's how you know you're trapped. You literally say, someday when A, B, and C changes, then I will A, B, and C. Someday when A, B, and C changes, I'll change the formula. Then I will X, Y, and R. We feel trapped. We feel disconnected. We feel incomplete. You know you feel disconnected because you keep thinking, okay, when this thing in the future happens, I'm finally going to be there. And the thing is that we don't even understand why, but I will tell you that after working through this on myself and then working diligently to escape the status quo prison that I was in and helping others do exactly the same thing, the reason is so simple. You build a life around expectations instead of authenticity, and nobody ever asks you to question what the expectations are, because so often the expectations are implied. I call them illogical rules. They are rules that we sign up for that we don't even know we sign up for. We're living inside of those rules and we can't escape them, and they're creating just this tiniest little bit of dissent, maybe a lot. Now I know, this is where most people are like, oh, come on, Matthew, really? Okay, I get it. I've lived it. I'm experiencing it. What do I do about it? Let's talk about a shortcut that happens when you start focusing on the rapid enlightenment process. And remember, the rapid enlightenment process is really just a system that I created for high-powered people like you to be able to get to a place of peace and joy and flow, so you can stop waiting to feel what you want to feel. You can stop waiting for the external conditions to change. You can stop waiting for the money. Stop waiting for the retirement. Stop waiting for the kids to grow up. Stop waiting for your spouse to finally change and finally get it. Stop waiting until everything feels safe. Instead, you start optimizing your relationship to the life that you already have right now to experience what you want. Freedom now, peace now, joy now, love now, certainty now. That's the rapid enlightenment process. So if freedom is what you want, here's what I want you to do. How can you create more freedom today given your current circumstances? What is the tiniest choice that you can make that gives you a sense of freedom? If you don't feel free, then how can you change your perspective right now to see the tiniest little freedom in your day? That's called recontextualization. That's one of the 4 pillars of the rapid enlightenment process. If adventure is what you want to experience that exhilaration and adventure, okay, well, how can you have more adventure in your life this week? Seriously, it's so dumb. You can do stupid little things like take a completely random route to work, right? Embrace the tiniest little adventure. Seriously. If self-expression is what you want, how can you express yourself more honestly right now, given the circumstances you're already in? Just the tiniest little change. If joy is what you want, what can you do to create more joy? Stop the video right now. Write down one thing you can do this week to feel the experience that you hope success will bring you. Skip the accumulation, create the experience. Skip the future fantasy, create the feeling now, because something magical happens when you do this. You stop needing life to cooperate before you're happy. And when you stop needing it to change, you become detached. You become open and curious and flexible and creative and magnetic. And I will tell you, the actual science of happiness, the hard, factual science, shows unequivocally that happy people are more productive, they're more effective, they solve problems better, they close more sales, they do more deals, they do more business, blah, blah, blah. The happier you are, the more effortlessly your life begins to flow. Because when you don't need something, You stop chasing it. And when you stop chasing it, you become more attractive. Not like metaphoric. Like when you stop chasing it, then you actually become more effective at going and getting it. Now let's go one level deeper. Okay, we're workshopping here. All right, let's do some workshopping. I want you to question everything. Seriously, I want you to question everything in your life this week. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to start asking yourself these questions about everything in your life. Why do I own this? Why do I work here? Why do I want this? Why do I believe this? Why is money so important to me? What am I trying to prove? Who am I trying to impress? Am I doing this because I love it? Or because I think it makes me look successful? Do I do this because it brings me more joy? Or because someone convinced me that successful people do things like this? Does my work give me peace? Does my home give me pleasure? Does my lifestyle inspire me? Or am I maintaining an image? Now I want you to stop. I want you to just rewind that little section right there. And I just want you to let those questions sink in so you remember to start asking them today. Most people never ask these questions, and because they never ask, they never discover who they really are. My friend, if you want to live a life that is deeply satisfying, then you have found the right video. This is one that you're going to watch over and over and over. Here's another exercise. I want you to close your eyes with me, would you please? And I want you to take a deep breath in and hold your breath. And then blow it out nice and slow. And then hold it out. And then take another long, slow, deep breath in, holding it. And then blowing out nice and slow again, holding it at the bottom. Just stay in that rhythm. Just be super intentional about your breathing. Now, I want you to do some visualizing with me, and I want you to imagine that you had the personal power to sell everything. Your house, your car, your possessions. I just want you to imagine that you had the personal power, the wherewithal, everything required to just walk away from your job. You release every expectation. You let go of every role, all the guilt, all the obligation. You give all of that stuff up. You completely reinvent yourself. Now just imagine you are perfectly capable with all of the mental, emotional fortitude that you have right now, all of the power that you have right now, and you just completely stripped your life down to the bone. Now with that image in mind, I want you to open your eyes and let's do some writing and thinking again. If you could start it all over, if you could start everything over right now, but you had all the wisdom, the knowledge, the network, the reputation, everything that you have, but you could start all over without all the guilt and all the obligation, who would you become? How would you spend your days? What would fill you with joy? What would fill you with laughter? What would fill you with positive expectations every single morning? And then I want you to just ask yourself this question. What small piece of that life can I begin living this week? The smallest, tiniest piece. Pause the video, do me a favor, and just think about the tiniest little piece. What could you do this week? Because there's nothing in the future that will improve your life more than your willingness to experience the feeling that you believe success will give you today. There's nothing there. Everything that you're seeking is available right now in its essence. Like when you get into the present moment, all the things that you are going after are actually available to you right now. That's not a metaphor. That's an actuality. Everything that you want is right here, right now, ready to go, because what you want is an experience. You think that the change of circumstances and conditions in your life are going to create some experience for you, but they don't, because wherever you go, you're still there. You still bring you. Everything that you want is in the present moment, not later, not someday, not after you get the money, not after you get the promotion, not after you retire. People get all of that stuff, and they still don't have the feeling that they thought it was going to give them, the experience they thought it was going to give them. Right now, in the present moment, it is available. That is where the joy is. That's where the peace is, the love, the feeling, the security, the happiness, all the things that you want. That's where it is. So this week, question everything. Question every goal, every possession, every obligation, every dream. Ask yourself, would I choose this if no one told me that I was supposed to? Because the goal isn't to get everything that you want. The goal is to discover what you would want if nobody programmed you and you had no guilt and obligation. Stop setting intentions designed to prove that you are good enough. Stop setting intentions designed to prove that you're smart enough. Stop setting intentions designed to prove that you're worthy. None of that will actually fulfill you. Stop trying to fit in. You won't feel fulfilled fitting in. You'll feel fulfilled loving, honoring, and appreciating people exactly as they are, but that's a different video. Start creating a life that you are madly in love with. You're not in love with the stuff. You're in love with the feeling that you think the stuff is supposed to give you, but it doesn't. You don't need the stuff to get there. Go for the feeling first. And the crazy thing is, the stuff just starts to come. Because most people are setting goals to fix problems that don't even exist, and they're just perpetuating those problems. Very few people are creating a life based on what they genuinely want to experience. And that's where the real adventure begins. Be sure to like and subscribe for more. Looking forward to talking to you soon. I'll see you in the comments. Can't wait to see what you say.